We have one target.
Let's look at everything. Campaign, his family.
Isn't that election interference?
It's not interference if we do it.
And that scares them.
Vindicating Trump in theaters nationwide Friday, September 27th. Get your tickets today at vindicatingtrump.com. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.
We met online. His job kept him busy. We never had a chance to meet in person. Then he told me about the investment opportunity of a lifetime. He said he loved me, so I sent him my money. I lost everything.
Romance scams posing as investment opportunities cost Kansans thousands every year. If you are the victim of investment fraud, contact the Kansas Department of Insurance at smartinvestks.com. This ad is sponsored by the Kansas Department of Insurance and aired in cooperation with this station.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Sunny skies today with a high of 90. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows dip down to about 61. Slight chance of rain showers tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 77. Cloudy skies expected. Temps a bit below average Sunday and Monday with highs from the mid-50s to the low 70s. Rain showers likely Sunday. A peek at the extended shows 71 Tuesday, 75 Wednesday, and 77 on Thursday. To recap, we should top off around 90 today, low of 61 tonight, high of 77 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Right now, 54.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business.
Sure can.
And the quality is guaranteed?
Absolutely.
Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right?
For sure.
How about this one?
We'll beat it.
Can you print menus, signs, and flyers?
Sure can.
How about blueprints?
No problem.
What about red prints?
Not a real thing.
What if they were?
We'd print them, and they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Where is the best place to go to stream your favorite NWKS radio station? NWKSradio.net. Where should you go to find out what's happening in the area? NWKSradio.net. What's happening with local area sports? NWKSradio.net. Is the weather causing delays or cancellations? NWKSradio.net. Need tickets to the next big NWKS radio event? NWKSradio.net. The place to go to be in the know. NWKSradio.net.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber-Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber-Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday. Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And no, they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
Hola, soy Marie en el FNB Bank. Ahí ofrecemos diferentes cuentas de depósito que les puede ayudar a lograr sus goles financieros, ya sea de cuentas de cheques o de ahorros, a cuentas de cheques para negocios o una variedad de opciones de CDs. Estamos aquí para ayudarlo. Puede parar a nuestro banco que está al este del correo en Goodland o puede hablarnos a 785-890-2000 para trabajar conmigo o con algún otro miembro de FNB Bank.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Mark your calendars for the event of the season. Join us at the 38th Annual Flatlanders Fall Festival from September 27th to the 29th in Goodland. Car enthusiasts, don't miss the Weekend on the Bricks car show and Bikes on the Bricks motorcycle show. Live music, food trucks, and activities for the whole family.
Friday kicks off with live music, free barbecue for the first 600 guests, and fun activities at Chambers Park. Saturday, it's all on Main Street with car and motorcycle show registrations starting at 8.
Visit flatlandersfallfestival.org for details or follow SCCD Community on Facebook.
Get ready for the most electrifying football action of the season right here on Rocket 1025. Cheer on your Denver Broncos with every thrilling play, every game-winning drive, and every heart-pounding moment. Don't miss a second of action. Tune in all season long to Rocket 102. Feed Yard Imperial Beef, Next Tech Wireless, Burlington Ford, Zimmelman's Jewelry, and Vince's GM.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Being a Nebraska football fan these past few years and watching this team week in and week out, I kind of compare it to like doing drugs. You know you shouldn't do it, but you can't stop. Kids, don't do drugs.
The region's only local sports talk.
Not this again.
Yes, this again.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 1025, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Brumbaugh fakes the three, fires it from the corner. Yes!
To the pros.
They set up the screen. McLaughlin has it with Miners in front. McLaughlin's got a first down inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and FNB Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Out of the zone. That ball is detonated. 3-run home run, a meteor from Alvarez.
Jets trying to add to their lead. Fake the handoff. Rodgers to his right, throwing, caught, touchdown! Terrific grab by Garrett Wilson for the score. Aaron Rodgers with a BB.
Oh my gosh! Shohei Ohtani, the greatest day in baseball history.
Welcome inside a Football Friday, everybody. Glad you could join us here on the Morning Blitz. As always, broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 1025, simulcasting on 730 Gold, KLOE, and NWKSradio.net. You can also watch the live video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream that is. So glad you could join us here on a Friday, September the 10th. Expected to be 90 degrees today before a fall-like weekend. Temperatures in the 70s and even down into the upper 50s, 60s coming up on Sunday with some good chances of rain. And boy, that would be fantastic. I would certainly take that for sure. Hopefully it all comes to fruition. But 58 degrees today currently as we get going here on our way to 90 on this Friday, September the 20th. As always, if you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, you can hit us up on the FNB Bank text line. The number is 785-899-2222. 785-899-2222. You should just save it in your phone, honestly, and be able to text us anytime you get a thought, a comment, an opinion on anything going on here on the Morning Blitz throughout the week. Today, we're going to be visiting with our good friend, Connor Nickel from Sunflower Sports Solutions, or better known as S3 and K-Preps. He'll be stopping by to talk a little high school football and the start to the fall sports season. It's been an interesting summer for Connor as well, for writing and other things outside of that. But he's kind enough to spend some time with us here today, and he'll be joining us pretty consistently throughout the rest of, especially the football season at least. We will also get to some thoughts on the football games this weekend throughout the area. I'm talking high school football here in a little bit and collegiate and professional football later on in the show. Starting tonight, of course, with Nebraska at home hosting Illinois, another Friday night game. Boy, we've had a lot of those here early on this season for whether it was Kansas or Kansas State. K-State played last week. KU's played a couple times on Friday. You've got Nebraska playing this Friday. So, yeah, everyone's taking their turn in that Friday slot, which I obviously do not like. I don't like the Friday slot game. If they wanted to be a Thursday deal, okay, but that's now NFL's time. But I'm not a big fan of the Friday deal. That should be saved for Friday Night Lights, which we'll experience tonight. Week 3 of the high school football season gets going this evening. And more on all that coming up here in today's program. But I do want to start out the show talking about something that had happened yesterday in the world of sports. And I know we don't talk about it a lot because it's not really local. It's not really regional. But I think it's something that if you're a sports fan, even if it's just one that you're a sports fan and you enjoy sports, every now and then, I think you need to realize what's going on in the world of baseball. As yesterday we saw Shohei Ohtani hit the 50-50 mark. 51 home runs and 51 stolen bases he has now on the season to Shohei Ohtani. And he did it in epic, unbelievable fashion yesterday down in Miami. And what was a dominant, I think it was like 20-4, the final score over the Marlins, who are trash, by the way. The Marlins are bad, and the Dodgers are very good. So that score is not surprising. But the stat line for Shohei Ohtani yesterday was unbelievable. Shohei Ohtani finished the day a perfect 6 of 6 with 10 runs batted in, 3 home runs, and 2 stolen bags. So not only did he eclipse the 50-50 mark and becoming the first ever player to do such an unbelievable thing, but he did it in the fashion of just completely going out there and dominating. Shohei Ohtani, to me, I was thinking about this last night, watching this guy play baseball. This guy is more, he's like some guy that just kind of came off the street. You're playing a pickup wiffle ball game in the backyard, and your kids, let's do it this way. Your kids are playing a wiffle ball game in the backyard, and all of a sudden, and I'm talking, these kids are like, let's just say they're 6 or 8. And they're like, Dad, come up here and take a swing. Okay. And then you come up there and you just absolutely crank one further than any of them could even hope to hit it. That's what it's like, I think, with Shohei Ohtani. In my opinion, that is what it is like. He is on a completely different level than anybody else in Major League Baseball. And to think that he's done it this season, hurt, recovering from Tommy John surgery, that's even more unbelievable. Like I was talking about Dan Lucero a couple days ago. What in the world are we going to see Ohtani do? I don't know if we'll ever see him hit 50 home runs and still 50 bags again, because if he's pitching as well, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe we're going to see a 50, 200 strike, 250 strikeout guy. I don't know. Because his pitching is amazing as well. He is just he is the baseball God's gift. And I hope that, in closing this little start here to the beginning, is that I just hope that I hope people are taking a little bit of time to soak in what this guy is doing. I mean, this guy will be a Hall of Famer. He will be in the Hall of Fame. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And to think about all the things that he does and how great he is, and he is not just a national star, he's an international superstar. Being over from Tokyo and Japan and all those areas, he's an international star. So to me, it's just amazing to see what he can do with all the pressure on him that he's had ever since he came into the leagues, and what he is doing. Like I said, being that kid being the dad who hits the ball for any of the kids at the backyard wiffle ball game, that's what Shohei Ohtani is doing. And I just hope people understand that, because what he does and makes look easy is not easy. It's unbelievably difficult. Unbelievably difficult. So anyway, I hope people, if you get a chance to watch, if the Dodgers are on, a national game or this postseason, because the Dodgers clinched the postseason spot as they are expected to do. I hope people get to tune in and watch, because that man is unbelievable to watch. So Shohei Ohtani has to just my initial thoughts as we kick off the show here on this Friday. All right, we got a lot of things to get to here in our first segment, and I want to look back at yesterday and highlight some high school football here tonight in week 3. Let's get to it with the front page.
Read all about it. Read all about it.
The top stories of today.
I got the early edition. Hot off the press.
It's the front page on the Morning Blitz.
Front page, really?
Starting off with local sports. Yesterday, the Trigo Community Cross Country Meet happening yesterday. Great showing from a lot of area and regional teams. Quinter boys had the best showing of anybody. They ended up finishing in first place as a team, beating Hoxie, who came in second, and Oakley finished in third. Quinter had 3 runners in the top 4 places. 3 runners in the top 4 places, which to me was unbelievable. I was trying to pull those names up here real quickly. But on the boys' side, if you go down here and you look at the top 3, Hans Deaton, Kendrick Selensky, and Elliot Churchwell finished 2, 3, and 4 to lead the way for the Quinter boys to win the Trigo Community Cross Country Invite. Michael Hafner from Hoxie was the top runner. He was way out in front of everybody. He finished about a good almost 40 seconds, good 30 seconds ahead of everybody else in the boys' cross country. Once again, Quinter finishing with 23 points. That was double the bet. That was minus 23 of where Hoxie was at. Oakley was pretty far behind in third place. Colby ended up finishing in 5th place. Their top runner yesterday was Hayden Litzenberger. He finished in 15th place. Moving on into, by the way, if you want to know about Goodland boys, it was Noah Woolock who was the top runner, finishing in 27th. On the girls' side, there were only 2 teams that had enough runners to score. Hoxie finished in first place with 24 points. All 5 of their runners finished in the top 10. Goodland finished in 2nd place. They had good showings as well. Good showings as well from Golden Plains' Elizabeth Weiner and Adeline Meyer. The 2 freshmen finishing in 2nd and 3rd for Golden Plains. Very good. Tegan Lindemann was the top Hoxie runner. Jason Gable, the top Goodland runner, finishing in 5th place. Avery Boydston from Ellis won the event. She finished almost a whole minute, 50 seconds ahead of second place finisher Elizabeth Weiner. But Boydston with a 19-minute, 31-second run there at the Trigo Community Invite. So great day for a lot of Hoxie girls who win it. Goodland girls come in 2nd, and a really great showing from Hoxie boys as well as the Quinter boys, who were fantastic. Once again, 3 runners inside the top 4 yesterday at the Trigo Community Cross Country Meet. Okay, moving on into a few other local sports things. Some volleyball from yesterday. You had the McCook Triangular, which is where Hoxie and Colby were competing. Colby continued their great start to this season. They went 2-0. They swept both the host Bison and Hoxie. Hoxie in the other match of the night lost in 3 sets to McCook. At the Wallace County Triangular, all 3 teams went 1-1. It was highly competitive. Wallace County swept St. Francis. St. Francis then beat Greeley County in 2, and then Greeley County topped Wallace County in 3 at the Wallace County Triangular yesterday. Looking ahead to this weekend, there is a lot of volleyball going on. You've got Goodland going to the Russell Volleyball Invitational. Colby is heading down south to Liberal for a volleyball invite against some pretty big schools, Dodge City, Garden City. Hughton to be a good test for that Colby team. Hoxie and Quinter are heading to Dighton for a volleyball invitational. And McCook is hosting a tournament, and that's where Decatur Community will be competing here on Saturday. One more thing in volleyball, Colby Community College, the 6th-ranked Lady Trojans, will be on the road at Seward County coming up here on Saturday before a massive matchup coming up on Monday, which I do want to highlight this real quick because it just came across my desk yesterday. But the Colby Trojans will be taking on the Barton Cougars. That is a top 6 matchup in the NJCAA. Barton is number 5. Colby is number 6. That's coming up here on Monday, the 23rd. So this coming Monday, it's going to be at, I think, 6:30 is when the game will be there. It's free admission. And your friendly folks here at NWKS Radio will be there serving burgers and hot dogs free before the game with music, giveaways, games, all kinds of stuff. So I invite you to go check out the Colby Community College volleyball tailgate party, and then that top 6 matchup between CCC and Barton coming up here. That's on Monday. But before that, they got to take care of business on Saturday down in Liberal, taking on Seward County. A few more things here. The Fort Hays Tech Northwest Men's Cross Country will be competing at the Green J. Dirksen Invitational in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's coming up here Saturday. And also some tennis this Saturday. Goodland and Colby tennis teams and many others will be competing at the Fort Hays State tournament here this weekend. So there's your look at the local sports from that side of things. Moving into week 3 of the high school football season, which will kick off here tonight. Got some good games, some very good games. Probably the most exciting game of any of them is in the 8-man ranks between Hoxie going to Ellis. Here's the thing why this game. Hoxie, first and foremost, is the number 1 ranked team in 1AD1. They're the number 1 ranked team, and they probably should be. They returned so many great players off of a great team a year ago, and we've talked with Lance Barr in this program weeks ago. They've got a confidence. They know they're a really good team this year. They're going to have to go out and prove it week in and week out. And they had a tough opening game against Osborne, which was a great test. They came back and shut out Trigo in a dominant fashion, 50-0 last week. And now they get Ellis. And Ellis is, of course, a team that has dropped down from 11-man to 8-man. And those type of teams, at least from what I've seen, have great success because you usually have good numbers. You're going from 11-man where you've got to have, you'd like to have over 30 to play 11-man if you could. And so you're usually dropping down. You got like 25 kids to play 8-man football. You got good numbers. Then you have to fill 3 less positions on each side of the ball. And so I think Hoxie Ellis tonight could be really good. I think Hoxie's a good team. And I think Ellis is going to be a good team this year. And Ellis, I think, is off to a 2-0 start at this point in time. And so I think Hoxie Ellis should be a very entertaining football game. Now, I think Hoxie probably ends up winning, but I think it's going to be a good game, and you just never know once the ball gets kicked off and toe meets leather. Some other 8-man games tonight. You have Quinter going to Dighton. Could be a tough one tonight for the Bulldogs. Dighton's a very good football team this year. How about St. Francis? 2-0 for the first time, I think, since 2021, I think. It's been 3 or 4 years since they've been 2-0. They have a chance to get to 3-0. Greeley County's having a tough start to this year, and St. Francis, probably one of the most improved football teams in our listening region. Rollins County will be visiting Trigo. You got to think that the Buffaloes will be able to pick up a win there. And Wallace County is at Decatur Community. Decatur Community having homecoming tonight. Wallace County, and that's another sneaky good game. Wallace County's 2-0. Decatur Community's off to a good start as well. Decatur Community, both teams are very much improved over the last couple of years. That could be a really good 8-man game here tonight. Shiloh going to Ingalls. If you're Shiloh, you got to make sure that you shut down the rushing attack of Ingalls. I think they've thrown 4 passes all season, completing 1 of them. Otherwise, they've racked up almost over 700 yards of rushing offense this year. I'd have to look up the young man's name. It's like a Northgren or something like that. Let's see if I can look that young man's name up. I don't know if I'll see if I can find it. I think Northgren, Lundgren, something like that is his name, out of Trigo. He has been unbelievable this year running the football for Ingalls. So that's a guy you definitely would try and stop if you are Shiloh tonight. Tri-Plains Brewster will host Rolla. Wheatland Grinnell hosts Golden Plains. And Weskin, probably one of the top 6-man teams in the state, going to Moscow tonight for some 6-man action. And, of course, in our other games, we'll have Colby hosting Cimarron. The Eagles are off to a 2-0 start, while the Blue Jays are 0-2. It's the first home game of the season for Colby after being on the road to open up the year twice. And I have a pretty good feeling I think Colby's going to take care of business. Colby's doing a lot of things right. They were an underdog in that Holyoke game last week, end up winning that game by 6. They dominate Ulysses, who was shorthanded in their first game of the season. Cimarron, once again, has a great player in Trace Copper, but behind that, just not a lot. And so I just expect Colby to take care of business tonight, home and get to 3-0. That's just what I expect to see. I think, once again, I could see it looking more like the Ulysses game, a little bit more convincing of a win than the Holyoke game here tonight. Once again, Colby at home for the first time this season, taking on a Cimarron team who was just, I think, lacking key playmakers. And I think Colby just gets it done pretty convincing. You'll hear that game on 100 Point Through the Ride with the new voice of the Colby Eagles on the ride.
So make sure that you tune in and listen in for that. Chad Jones is stepping away from the microphone, so our new guy can take over. So that'll be great. That will be fantastic. All right. Also tonight, of course, we've got Goodland going to Oakley, an old Northwest Kansas League matchup on right here, Rocket 102.5. The Goodland Cowboys and the Oakley Plainsmen squaring off for the first time since 2019 when the Cowboys won by 21-20 in that one to get their lone win of that season for Goodland. Tonight, the Cowboys try to get to 2-1 for the first time since the 2020 season when the Cowboys beat Liberal, lost to Bridgeport, Nebraska, and then picked up a win against Lakin, I believe is who that was, to get to 2-1. So the Cowboys trying to get above 500 and get a winning record, for the first time in 4 years. Goodland's got to be coming into this game feeling very confident after what they did against Burlington. The Cowboys passing for over 300 yards and Zach Thorson throwing for 5 touchdowns, another one coming from Jackson Miller. The Cowboys passing game looked very, very good, and I expect them to be able to throw the ball well in this game. I will be intrigued to see if the Cowboys try to get that run game going a little bit more here tonight with Chayton Goodwin and Ethan Herenick. I want to be able to see if they can get that run game going. You're going against a team that's in Oakley that's really struggled through the first 2 games, but I get why. They're young. They're a young team. They're playing a lot of sophomores and juniors and even freshmen at the varsity level. And Jeff Hennick, who I think is one of the best coaches in all of Kansas. Sometimes it's hard when you just don't have the physical bodies, as in the size of guys you need out there and the experience. I think this will be a good football team come next year, maybe the following year. And I think Jeff Hennick, he's scheduled hard early this year. They've lost to Norton, who's very, very good, very, very good, led by who I think is one of the best quarterbacks in the state, Eli Jones. And then you have, after that, a Russell team, which has really found its footing the last couple of years, and their program has really become much improved. And I think they've been outscored like 70-some to 4. 70-some to 6, excuse me. It's like 47 to 4, something like that. They've been outscored on average these first 2 games for Oakley. But Oakley's had opportunities. They've moved the ball up and down the field. They just have been anemic to get it in the end zone. That's been the hard part. They can't get in the end zone. Turnovers have been a big issue. And just mental lapses on defense, not being in the right spots, forgetting that you've got to stay back and not get burnt deep. A lot of that stuff, is what happens when you have a young football team that is inexperienced and they're learning on the fly and in the fire. And so I think Oakley will be a much improved football team. Maybe even by the time they get in district play here, they say they're playing three bigger schools to start, and then they're going to get into 1A play, and then we're going to see how it all looks. My guess is they're going to be very much improved when they get into their own size of schools, and when they get later on in the season, they're going to be an improved team. But until then, they're going to do a little bit struggling because they're still learning. They're learning how to play at the varsity level. They're learning the speed. They're learning these things. There'll be less of those learning moments and more experience underneath their belt here later in the season. But I think Goodland tonight, who I saw according to the Massey rating, so I always love to go check and see what that looks like. Currently, right now, the Cowboys are a 26.5-point favorite, according to the Massey ratings here tonight. In case you're curious, Colby, a 4-touchdown favorite over Cimarron tonight. I even think I saw Hoxie was on here as well. Hoxie currently a 2-touchdown favorite over Ellis, a few of the big games tonight in our listening region. So once again, we'll have coverage of Colby football on 100.3 The Ride with Max Gershon, the new voice of the Eagles. And then yours truly will have coverage of Goodland Cowboy football from Irwin Stadium in Oakley. We'll have pregame with Goodland Game Day starting at around 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So I invite you to tune on in and catch him. We got a senior spotlight with Mason Burrows, which is fantastic. Mason was awesome. We visit with head coach Jeff Hennick talking about his team and his season this year. So we got a full slate ahead on Goodland Game Day presented by the insurance agency. Once again, getting going at 5 o'clock Mountain Time tonight from Oakley. All right, there you go. Some high school football tonight, and I'm excited to see what Week 3 brings for all the area teams. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we still have plenty more to get to. We will get to a very busy weekend of college football And but before that, and professional football too as well. We'll talk about the regional teams. But up next, our good friend from Sunflower Sports Solutions and K-Preps, that's Connor Nickel. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
As a customer-owned cooperative, Midwest Energy members elect their board of directors. Ballots for this year's director election are in the mail and must be completed and returned by October 4th. Election results will be announced at our annual meeting on Monday, October 21st, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn in Hayes. We'll give away great door prizes, and all Midwest members are invited to attend. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It's Friday, September 20th, in the overnight session. D's corn down 1.5, grow 4 1/4. March down 1.5, 4.22 3/4. D's 25 down 3/4 at 4.45. Soybeans on the November down 6 3/4 at 10.06 1/2. Jan down 6 1/4 at 10.25. March down 6 1/2, 10.38 3/4. AC wheat on the D up 3 1/2, 5.68. March up 2 3/4, 5.81. July at 25 up 3 1/2, 5.94 1/2. Chicago wheat up 5 at 5.70 1/2. Feeder cattle finished yesterday 245, 27 1/2. Live cattle 179, 97 1/2. Lean hogs 80.25. Crude oil futures down 39 cents a barrel at 70.77. Gold futures up 27 an ounce, 1,618.70. Silver up 30 cents, 31.44. U.S. dollar index either side of unchanged at 131. Dow futures down 45 at 40,401. S&P down 6 1/2. 5,771.50. Need to move any cash, grain, or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Studo, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. Pride of our roots. We're born to raise. At Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down. We up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D, keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
He talks about sports on the radio.
$7:35 Mountain, 8:35 Central Time here on a Friday, September the 20th. Glad you could join us as always here on the Morning Blitz, no matter which way you are doing so. Video stream, of course, the radio, or through your mobile device. Thank you so much for tuning in, no matter which way you are doing so or where you're listening from. Let's talk some more high school football as we welcome into the program for the first time in a long time our good friend from Sunflower Sports Solutions. That would be Connor Nickel, who joins us now. Connor, great to have you back on the show. How's it been? How was the summer?
Good. It was a great summer, involved a lot of
different sports and summer weights. Coached quite a bit of basketball, some softball. It's been an exciting fall. Everybody's just once it reaches August 1, that anticipation for the first game is just, it's like, man, every day just takes a long time, and then all of a sudden you're here, and all of a sudden, Ross, we look up and we've already played 2 games.
I know, it's nuts. Going back to your summer, did you get those kids in shape that you're coaching? You're ready for another season ahead?
Yeah, I felt like we had a very good summer. I ran the girls' summer weights at Victoria this year, and that was fun and really good, and had a good season. Coached both the basketball teams here in the summer. And so I feel like things are off to a good start.
Well, speaking of good starts, there is a team just down south of us here in Goodland, one of the smallest schools in the state that's off to a fantastic start for football, and that'd be the Weskin Coyotes. And they're having a great start to the season. They have new lights on their football field, and it could be a really exciting year for Weskin Coyote football this year in your eyes.
Yeah, I completely agree. When we were doing our research and the coaches talking to this summer, Cunningham is easily the number 1 ranked team, but they are in the East. So then the question kind of became, who was number 1 team in the West? And South Barber, Ingalls, and Weskin were all kind of that highlighted group. Talking with the coach last week of a good 6-man team, he believes Weskin is the best team in the West. I do think after Weskin, Ingalls, and South Barber, there is a gap. And South Barber is new to 6-man this year. They lost to Cunningham in week 1, but got a really nice win in week 2. Ingalls has looked very good so far through 2 weeks. And then Weskin has been outstanding. You're exactly right. What a cool story for them to have lights for the first time ever. The first night game, Coach Clough sent me a nice photo on that. They're really big up front. Judah Crow's a nice player. Jack Cadle, both of them scored on non-offensive touchdowns in their week 1 win. And an interesting kind of note with them, Ross, is their winning streak. They actually have one of the longest winning streaks right now in all classes. It's top 5 all classes. Because, of course, last year they were non-Keisha, so they go 8-1. They win their final 7 games. They've won their first 2 games this year. So they have a 9-game winning streak right now, which is very rare. I mean, Mill Valley lost last week. So right now, Weskin Coyotes have a top 5 winning streak for all classes, which is something really cool to see.
No, absolutely. It's certainly cool. And to see them come back up and be Keisha sanctioned again, pretty much at the perfect time, too. Isn't that just kind of interesting how that all works out?
Yeah, Coach Clough and I had talked a couple years ago when they were going to step down out of Keisha, and he just felt like numbers were really low, and it probably just didn't do them a whole lot of good. They were able to kind of pick and choose a little bit last year, facing teams of moderate strength. They did get a win over Pawnee Heights, which was very impressive. Facing teams who they were going to definitely kind of beat, could kind of go out of state some too. They did play Shiloh last year, the greatest 6-man team on paper of all time, and they lost. But you step back into Keisha this year, knowing, hey, we've got a real chance for success. And in 6-man, what we've seen this year, Ross, is we've seen the top teams, the 6-man from last year, Shiloh, massive graduation losses, new coach, they're not ranked anymore. Ashland bumps up to 8-man too, where they've really struggled. Northern Valley, I still think, is a pretty decent team, but not ranked right now at this point. And then you have Cunningham, which has 1 more year. Cunningham has 1 more year with all these seniors. I think there's 8 seniors, and then they're probably going to tumble back some. So you're seeing 6-man, just wide swaths of teams rising up. Ingalls and Weskin, I think, have been preparing for this season for a while, and that's why they are ranked so high.
We're visiting with Sunflower Sports Solutions. Connor Nickel here on the Morning Blitz. Another team that you're really excited about here early on this season are the Dighton Hornets.
Yeah, Dighton, I think that it's very clear that Dighton and Victoria are the best teams in eight-man Division II West. They're getting it done then in different ways. Victoria has their outstanding line. Got to see them play last Friday. They're really big up front. Kyle Huser is an MIAA, possibly even low Division I caliber lineman. They've got some other their fullbacks are really big kid. Well, Dighton's getting it done skill-wise. They've got Daniel Kramer, quarterback, the outstanding. He is a true outstanding dual-threat player. George Van Leonrode on defense is a nice player as well. They've got some really good skill players. Dighton has taken some losses to eight-man Division I teams the last couple of years early on, and then made some nice playoff runs. I think back to 2021 was an example of that. 2021 they lose to Quinter early competitively, and then don't lose again until late in the postseason. This year to face a Rollins County team just out of the rankings in week 1 with Ryan Schromick. Ryan Schromick led eight-man Division I in rushing yards last year. And for Dighton to win that game by 2 scores and then beat a quality Oberlin team last week by 4, there's a reason why Dighton's ranked high. Now you're going to enter a stretch of at least their next month. They're going to be favored in all of their games by at least 2 scores. Dighton's got a real shot to be 6-0. And again, I think that at this point, Dighton and Victoria have separated themselves for 8-man 2 West.
You're talking about Rollins County a little bit there. They're having a good season, could have a really good year this year. Hoxie is expected to be, I think, one of the favorites out of the West here this year. And St. Francis has a chance to get to 3-0 with a win this week. And there's been some resurgence in the 8-man football up in our listening area here.
It's really interesting. So if you go on to K-Preps, I've partnered with K-Preps going on 13 years now. I do the potential breakout teams every year. Teams that I think that will raise up, improve by 4 or 5 wins. And I put St. Francis on there, and I had somebody text me saying, I don't think so. And I said, they return everybody essentially. I think that they are going to be much improved. You look at last year, they only won a couple games, and 2-6 last year with a lot of competitive losses is probably the best way to say it. You lose to Oberlin by a score. You lose to Thunder Ridge, a very good Thunder Ridge team, in a competitive 4-quarter game. And I thought this year, you lose to Atwood, but it's a 4-quarter game. So, I felt like, hey, St. Francis could maybe make a big adjustment. And you're exactly right. 2-0 already this season. They have the opportunity really quickly to surpass their win total. District play for them, you're going to face some really hard teams, Atwood and Hoxie certainly, but I think St. Francis will have a winning season for sure and could be a 6 or 7 win team this year, which would be a major step up.
Absolutely. Connor Nickel, our guest from Sunflower Sports Solutions. Let's talk about here in week number 3 of this high school football season. What are some of the big games that you'll be keeping your eye on across the state?
Yeah, a major one, Hoxie Ellis. Super intriguing game. I will be there. Hoxie has been ranked number 1 in 8-man Division I. I really like Coach Barr's got an extremely experienced team. They had a really key injury in preseason. They skirted past Osborne in a 1-score game, and Osborne's a nice above-average team. Really played impressively against a high-powered Waukene team last week. And Hoxie's, Hoxie's ranked number 1. There are people saying, well, I don't think they should be number 1. But 8-man Division I, Ross, it's really close. 1 through 5, there's not much separation. I have Hoxie 1 because I believe in the experience. I believe in Coach Barr. Duncan Bell is a highly experienced quarterback. They've got all the pieces that say this should be a number one ranked team. And then you have Ellis. Ellis drops down to 8-man Division I this year. Brian Eichman, a great guy, came in last year to take over coaching 1 year of 11-man. They probably exceeded expectations last year, knowing this year they would be playing eight man. Coach Eichmann has a great culture. They come on in and 2 extremely impressive wins. I mean, super impressive. They beat Lincoln, which was, I think, ranked 6th in the preseason by 4. And they win at Hill City last week in double overtime. So 48-44 and 54-48 in double overtime. Ellis has Trenton Sharps at quarterback. The other Sharps brother is at running back. They've got Caleb Noble, the senior end, who's a really nice player. They've got some talent at the skill positions and a coach who can coach that. So Ellis has been really fun to watch, and then you're going to face the experience and Hoxie's defense. It should be a really fun game. Whoever wins this game is going to be ranked very high. Obviously, if Hoxie wins, they'll probably stay at 1. But if Ellis can win this game, they're going to shoot up in the rankings and get a lot of attention.
You know, you've seen it a lot over the years where teams go from 11-man down to 8-man. How much of an advantage is that over the years you've seen?
Well, there was a lot of hand-wringing in the Ellis because it was, okay, we're going to get knocked around by Norton or Smith Center or those types of teams. We're going to be competitive with the TMP, and then we're going to beat the Southwest Kansas teams easily. So we're guaranteed a few wins. Now in 8-man, it's different because most everybody's good. So there's a lot of hand-wringing in Ellis of, how this could be tough for us. I thought that Ellis moving to 8-man was going to be a great change. I'll go back, and this goes back a decade plus. I wrote a story on this when Atwood switched down. At that point, 11-man teams switching to 8-man were averaging 2.2 wins the next season plus. So if you won 4 games, you're going to win 6. You got 5 wins, you're going to win 7, type of thing. And so I do believe that Ellis will have a winning season. It does make a impact in the win column. I think more than anything, Ross, though, you're going to have more competitive games. You know, we mentioned Ellis. Last year they go 4-5. They really only had 2 competitive games, whether they were winning by a lot or they were losing by a lot. And this year, much more exciting games across the board, which I think just ratchets is up the interest for your team in town. I think is really, really cool. You know, and Ellis, we use Ellis as the example. They kind of knew, hey, we're not going to win 1A. You know, we're just not. But if we can win a playoff game, that would be good. Now it's different. Ellis has the opportunity that says if we win Friday, we're the best team maybe in 8-man Division I. I mean, Ellis has not been ranked in 13 years. You win Friday, you are. And that just raises the excitement across the board as the town and the team prepares for the games.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Connor Nichols, our guest from Sunflower Sports Solutions. We'll get you out of here on this, Connor. Tell us your athletes of the week there at S3.
Yes. So we've been doing that last year. It's been a great thing. We actually made Weskin just kind of the team, our boy athlete of the week, just for their start and playing on the lights and all those cool things. And then we have a Smith Center cross country girl as our girl athlete of the week. She had an amazing start, won the TMP meet, won 2A last year. As a sophomore, super impressive runner. Kind of what we started with so far this year, and we're really excited for this fall to unfold.
He is Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions. You also read stuff on K-Preps as well. Connor, thank you as always. We'll catch up soon. All right. Thank you for the time.
Certainly, Ross. Thank you.
Once again, great stuff there from Connor Nickel here on the Morning Blitz. Let's take a timeout. Come back. We'll wrap up the show with some look at some football this upcoming weekend at the college and professional ranks. You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
They're having one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. That's right, a hail sale where you can get massive savings on a new vehicle. For example, get a 23 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $20,000 off when you trade in eligible vehicle, now just over $37,000. A new 24 Chevy Tahoe RST, $13,000 off, now just over $59K. Plus 24 Chevy Traverse RS, $10,000 off, now just over $45,000. Plus many more. It's one hail of a sale at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Ross Volkmer.
I love him. I think he's great. Okay. I think he's a real winner.
It's the Morning Blitz.
As always, thanks again to Connor Nickel for spending some time with us here this morning. Talk a little high school football. I feel like we're kind of on the same page about a lot of things. That Hoxie-Ellis game will be a big one tonight in 8-man football for sure. Speaking of football, Friday tonight, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 great nights of football outside of the high school ranks as well. Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, late morning, you want to call it that. Kansas football tries to get back on track against West Virginia. Both teams in desperate need of a win. And we visited with Shreyas Latta earlier this week about, the Jayhawks are desperate for a win. West Virginia comes in as a defense that really struggles to hold opponent's passing team. They're the worst in the Big 12 with 8 touchdowns allowed through the air and almost 281 yards passing. Going up against the Kansas Jayhawks and Jalen Daniels, who's really struggled. He just completed 50% of his passes with 2 interceptions against UNLV. Now, he did run for a couple of scores. But that's a matchup to watch there. Can Kansas get their passing game going against West Virginia on the road? It'll be a hostile environment. Can KU put it together on the road in the passing department? And I'm not saying you have to just go out there and look like you're going to throw the ball all the time. I'm saying when you're asked to pass the ball, just make it work, I guess is the way to put it. Because we know that you can turn around and hand off to Devin Neal and get your yards that he wants. He ran for 120 against UNLV. I would say you rely on him. Hopefully he gets really going. They have to bring up the defense. You're able to make some easy passes for Jalen Daniels against one of the worst passing defenses in the nation at this point in time. But that kickoff is at 10 a.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Central Time. You can listen to coverage on Flyover Country 97.9. As for K-State, a late kickoff. You'll want to grab your coffee or something. It'll be a 9:30 Central, 8:30 Mountain Time kick from Provo, Utah, one of the most beautiful settings in all of college towns with the mountains in the background. Absolutely beautiful. Here's the thing. K-State's got a really good defense. They corrected some things against Arizona after they struggled against Tulane. BYU comes in 3-0. The only reason why I give BYU a bit of a chance at possibly pulling off an upset in this game is that they're at home at night. That place is going to be rocking. They have a top 15 team coming in. BYU gets a little crazy at night. They're in Provo.
And that's why I think maybe you might see a little bit of trouble from Kansas State trying to win this game. Maybe. I think K-State, though, is no doubt better at pretty much everything, whether that be defense, offense, and obviously special teams. Are the best special teams unit in the country. So, like I said, the only reason that I would be concerned about this game if I was a Wildcat fan is just because of the time frame it's in and where you're playing. Although I do think if K-State comes out and gets off to a hot start, that will all kind of go away. I don't know if BYU will stick around and try and if they get it by a score or two to Kansas State. So that game, a late kickoff between K-State and BYU. Fascinating to watch that one, but get your coffee. Baylor and Colorado play coming up on Saturday night. That's an earlier kickoff at around 6 Mountain, 7 Central. Here's the fun stat about this game. Shedeur Sanders, one of the best passing quarterbacks in the game. He's got almost 1,000 yards through 3 games and 9 touchdowns this season. They're going up against Dave Aranda and Baylor, who have the best defense passing-wise in the country. The passing games have only given up a field goal. They have the nation's best passing defense going up against one of the very best passers of the football in the collegiate game in Shedeur Sanders. That, to me, is a highly fascinating stat. Which one of those strengths wins out? The greatest passing defense in the nation or one of the best pure passers of the football? The thing that might hold up Baylor a little bit in that game is that they don't know who they're going to go with quarterback. It's either Robertson or the transfer from Toledo, Finn. We'll see what happens there. But that game has me intrigued because of that defense trying to slow down the best passing quarterback, one of the best passing quarterbacks in the game. Tonight, it's the 4th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium for Nebraska and Illinois, which is a top 25 matchup. First top 25 matchup played for Nebraska at home, I think, since 2013. So it's been 11 years since they've been able to have a game of this magnitude, quote unquote, as I'll put it that way. I think if Nebraska just doesn't hurt itself and doesn't turn the ball over, I think they win this game. Illinois is very good at getting turnover. I think they're like +8 in turnover margin. So if you're Nebraska, you just want to hold on to the ball. I think Nebraska's defense got a little bit exposed by UNI, but that's okay. It woke them up and said, we got to fix these things against a team like Illinois, which is going to be like them and run the ball a lot. And I think Nebraska will be prepared in that department. So as long as you don't turn the ball over and give a lot of extra possessions to Illinois, I think it'll be fine. I mean, Illinois beat Kansas because Kansas beat themselves. That's pretty much what happened in that game. So once again, if Nebraska holds on to the ball and does not turn it over and just plays good defense, solid defense, I think Nebraska is able to win that game this weekend here at home and get that 400th consecutive sellout and that victory and get to 4-0, which would be very, very impressive. And then on Sunday, we've got Broncos and Buccaneers. I don't know. Are we going to see the Broncos get something going against Tampa? I don't know. Can the defense slow down Baker Mayfield, who's having a resurgence in Tampa Bay? I don't know. I just don't know what to expect in Denver. I don't feel like anything is going right for Sean Payton at this point in time. And then Chiefs at the Falcons. Falcons got to be feeling good coming off that win against Philadelphia. But I don't know. Kansas City just looks really, really good right now. And I don't think ATL's got enough to hang with them in that Sunday night matchup. That'll be a Sunday night game at 7:20 Central, 6:20 Mountain, 100 points to the ride. Of course, Rocket 102.5 is right here, the Broncos. That is an early kickoff of noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain time. All right, let's get to the walk-off. Make some picks.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off.
With a walk-off. His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
Last week was a horrific week for yours truly. Went just a pitiful 1-4, bringing the overall season record to now 5-9-1. Got to get back on the horse here today. So I'm taking Nebraska to cover the 7.5 against Illinois tonight at home. I think the Huskers get it done and they win by about 10 or something like that. Pull away late. Kansas is at West Virginia. I'm going to take the under at 56.5. I think both teams will, to an extent, for whatever reason, run the football, shorten up the game, won't be as many points. So I'm going to take the under between KU and West Virginia. K-State at BYU. I'm going to say K-State covers the 7. I think maybe early on it's tight, but K-State pulls away a little bit later and makes them able to cover that 7-point spread. Colorado is going to host Baylor. I've got the under at 51.5. I think Baylor's defense able to slow down Shedeur a little bit, and and then Baylor's offense with the question marks at quarterback
not going to put up as many points. And, Colorado hasn't been as many shootouts as they were last year. A little bit more low-scoring games this year. Point last week against Colorado State. So I'll take the under there. Denver at Tampa Bay. I got Tampa covering the 6.5. I just don't see anything that says to me, hey, Denver's going to cover and they're going to get a win. I don't see anything like that. And Kansas City covers the Falcons. They cover the 3 on Sunday Night Football. There you go. Picks of the weekend. Another reminder, we'll be on the air tonight at 5 o'clock Mountain Time for Goodland Cowboy football right here on Rocket 102.5 as the Cowboys take on the Plainsman Old Northwest Kansas League match. We'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend. It's been the Blitz.
Rocket 102.5 is KKC.